Okay, with that then, I'm going to go ahead and call to order the January 14, 2021 meeting of the Sacramento Transportation Authority. This is Vice Chair Natoli calling to order. We do have some announcements and certainly some welcomes for new members as well as our new Executive Director. But before we get into that, we'll go ahead and have Darrell, our clerk, call the roll to establish a quorum, and then we'll move through into the agenda. Okay, Darrell.
Member Desmond.
Here.
Member Frost. Member Frost. Member Gatewood.
Here. Here.
Member Guetta. Member Guetta. Member Harris.
Here.
Member Howell or Kowalski. Member Kennedy. Member Miller. Natoli.
Here.
Sandoon. Sandoon.
Here.
Chenier.
Here.
Cerna. Avdis. Singh Allen.
Mike here for Kozlowski.
Thank you. Singh Allen.
Here.
Spees. Valenzuela.
Here.
Sorry about that. If I said that incorrectly, I apologize.
No problem.
And Vang.
Here, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you have a quorum.
Great. Thank you. And before we make the announcements to the clerk, I'd ask wherever you're at, if you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. Then, Darrell, if you'd read the announcements that we need to read into the record, and then I want to welcome some members of the board as well.
Okay. In compliance with directives of the county, state, and Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, this meeting is live streamed and closed to the public. Temporary procedures are subject to change pursuant to guidelines related to social distancing and minimizing person-to-person contact. To make a live meeting comment, you can make a verbal comment during the meeting. The public comment phone line will open 15 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Refer to the agenda and listen to the live meeting to determine when is the best time to call to be placed in queue to make a public comment. Callers may be on hold for up to an extended period of time and should plan accordingly. Dial 916-875-2500 and follow the prompts to be placed in queue for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter. When the chair opens public comment for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter, calls will be transferred from the queue into the meeting to make a verbal comment. Each agenda item queue will remain open until the public comment period is closed for the specific item. You can send a written comment, send an email comment to boardclerk@saccounty.net, include the meeting date and agenda item number or off-agenda item. Contact information is optional. To view the meeting, this meeting of the Sacramento Transportation Authority is Comcast Live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast Consolidated Communications, and AT&T UVerse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.net. Today's meeting will replay Sunday, January 17th at 2 p.m. on Channel 14. And that concludes my announcements.
Great. Thank you very much, Darrell, for reading that into the record. And before we go to our first agenda item, just want to extend a big welcome certainly to our new Executive Director, Sabrina Drago. I see Mr. Kempton's in the audience today as well, and appreciate once again say to Will, thank you for all your good work and leadership. And I know Sabrina's raring to go, and we certainly look forward to her engagement today in today's meeting. Also want to welcome aboard the newly elected as well as newly appointed members to the Sacramento Transportation Authority. And I know that we have several with us today. I think all of them in the roll call. Certainly Mayor Bobby Singh Allen and Councilmember Kevin Spees from City of Elk Grove, City of Sacramento, Councilmember Katie Valenzuela, and Councilmember Mai Vang. And then also from the County of Sacramento, Supervisor Rich Desmond. And we welcome you all and look forward to working with you. Obviously, we're still doing our meetings virtually in light of the current situations, but hopefully someday we'll be once again fill this dais. It's pretty full when all members are here, but we're certainly able to, with the assistance of our staff, to conduct business through this format appropriately. So with that, I'll turn to our first item on the agenda, and that's the selection of chair and vice chair for the calendar year 2021. There was information in your packet. That's item number 1, and I'm going to turn it to our Executive Director, Ms. Drago, to make some opening comments, and then we'll turn back to the board for action on this item. Sabrina.
Thank you, Vice Chair Natoli. So STA rules for proceedings require that the board select a chair and vice chair each calendar year. Any board member may serve as chair or vice chair. With few exceptions, the chairmanship has traditionally alternated between a county supervisor and a city council member. The city councils have also traditionally taken turns alternating between the city of Sacramento and one of the smaller cities. On the back of item number 1 is a listing of the historical chairs and vice chairs serving the STA governing board. The previous vice chair is customarily succeeds to chair the following year. Board may ask for a recommendation to nominate a chair and a vice chair for 2021.
Okay. Thank you, Sabrina. So with that, then I'll bring it back to the board. Unless there are any questions regarding the information that was submitted, you'll see a long list of those who've served in the capacity. And I would open up nominations for chair and vice chair. We can take those either separately and or together, depending upon the preference of the board. I would just note that from the rotation as outlined here, it would, assuming that the county moves into the chair role this year, that it would now roll to the City of Sacramento for the vice chair position. And then obviously with Mr. Soon having served as our immediate past chair, the next time that the rotation goes back to the city would be one of the other incorporated cities within the county. So with that, I'll open it to the floor. I guess folks can either raise their hand or just weigh in over the phone and certainly speak up as you like. So I'll open it to the...
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
This is Director Cernan.
Yes, Phil.
I'd like to, with a single motion, suggest that you move into the chairmanship for 2021 and that Director Valenzuela move into vice chair.
Okay, so that's a motion.
That is a motion.
Do we have a second to the motion or other comments?
I'll second that, Councilwoman Mai Vang.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Is there other discussion regarding nominations that are a part of the motion?
I just like to add my gratitude to be considered. Thank you, Supervisor Sarney, and looking forward to work with the group if I'm selected.
Okay.
Okay, and I just want to make note that there is no public comment for this item, and then I will do your roll call vote.
Okay, just for you. So any other comments? If not, then I'm going to have Dorel call the roll. Okay, all right, go ahead, Dorel.
Member Desmond?
Aye.
Frost?
Aye.
Gatewood? Gatewood? Guetta?
Gatewood's a yes.
Guetta? Harris?
Aye.
Kowalski?
Yes.
Kennedy? Kennedy? Miller? Natoli?
Aye.
Sandoon? Chenier?
Aye.
Cerna?
Aye.
Singh Allen?
Yes.
Spees? Valenzuela? Valenzuela? I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Valenzuela, and I'm a yes.
Valenzuela. Thank you. And Vang?
Yes.
Could you go back? We have others that were on the call. I don't know if they have difficulty either unmuting or Darrell. If you
And I will double check, and I will go back up to the ones I did not receive a vote from.
do that, yes.
Madam Clerk,
So-
did you miss my name, I believe?
Sandoon?
Sandhu, right?
Yes. Is that an aye or a nay?
Aye.
Thank you. Guerra?
Madam Clerk, this is Director Cerna. I just received a text message from member Guerra, and he says that he can hear everyone, but he asked whether or not we can hear him. So he's trying to participate.
Okay, and I see some numbers here that I've just unmuted them. So member Guerra, can you hear us now?
He is saying,
Before. So thank you. Yes, get an aye.
Okay, we can hear you now. I apologize about that. And is that an aye vote?
Yes.
That is an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Kennedy?
Aye.
Thank you. And Miller?
Aye.
And Spees? Okay, and your motion carries with Spees being absent.
Is he absent or just you had his number up earlier? He was
He did check in earlier, but I don't have, let me just double check.
Part of the quorum.
Member Spees, can you hear me?
Yes, Spees has been here for
Okay,
quite a
I
while.
apologize
Yes.
about that. And did you want to place an aye vote?
Yes, please. Aye.
Okay, and that's a unanimous vote.
Okay. Thank you. And
Right.
again, we're certainly challenged with the technology here, but Dorell's doing a really fine job, so we'll try to keep everybody in the loop here and make sure that we record the votes accordingly. So, very good. All right, then thank you very much, and congratulations to the Vice Chair, and certainly, once again, thank you to our staff for providing the information for this. And if there's nothing further on this item, then we'll move forward to our items under comment. First, we would call for any comments from the public regarding matters not on the agenda. I believe, Darrell, you said there were none at this point, but...
No, I have just checked. There is no public comment for item number 2.
Okay, very good. Okay, with that, then we'll move right down to the Executive Director's report. Ms. Drago.
Oh, thank you, Chair Natoli. So good afternoon and welcome to the first governing board of the Sacramento Transportation Authority in 2021. I would like to echo Chair Natoli's sentiments in congratulating our new board members. Also, congratulations to the new chair and vice chair. I look forward to working with all of you over the course of this year. 2021 is poised to be an exciting year, and I am honored to serve as your executive director. My first month has been inspiring as I've worked closely with authority staff and member and partner agencies to learn all that I can about your programs. I sincerely appreciate everyone's support and help as I embark on this adventure. I've also had the pleasure of meeting with a few of the board members over the past few weeks and I look forward to continue to doing so. My goal is to meet with each one of you individually to better understand the unique needs of your jurisdictions so I can serve you better. As everyone knows, the global pandemic has left us with some financial insecurities, but we have some good news in regards to Measure A. We are now halfway through fiscal year 2021, and sales tax revenue is actually increased by 7.8% over the first half of fiscal year 2020. We believe that the additional $3.5 million in revenue is twofold. First of all, the Wayfair decision taxing internet sales, and also the fact that Sacramento County has a strong employment base in government and healthcare and is not dependent on tourism and recreation, which has seen a sharp decline. This makes us cautiously optimistic that sales tax funding allocations for fiscal year 21 will be consistent with the approved budget. In regards to CIP programming, last month staff has held meetings with each of the 5 agencies remaining within the CIP. The City of Sacramento, the City of Citrus Heights, County of Sacramento, Caltrans, and the Connector JPA. This marks the beginning of an effort to identify projects and funding needs throughout the second decennial period through 2029. We anticipate this endeavor to take several months as staff negotiate with the group to develop a workable financing plan. The culmination will likely result in extensions of existing capital construction contracts and authorizations of new ones. Staff anticipates bringing these contracts before the board in the spring. Today's meeting concludes the last in a series of 3 public hearings on the potential for amendments to the Measure A expenditure plan as outlined in Section 7, Ordinance Number STA 04-01. The decennial review of the program is required every 10 years with hearings to consider recommendations from the local government, transportation agencies, interest groups, and the general public. And today we'll be receiving input from the general public. In February, the staff will compile the input received during the process and make recommendations to the board regarding any principles and proposed amendments. Additional items throughout 2021 is expanding public education and outreach efforts. The goal is to increase the profile of the transportation projects funded through Measure A. It is important that the public has a better understanding of how their tax dollars are being spent throughout Sacramento County. The authority is talking with the County Public Information Office and collaborating with member agencies to discuss how to improve our efforts to highlight and celebrate Measure A projects. The goal is to create a regular and robust communication channel with the public, with the intent of the effort to educate on the public on how their tax and fee dollars are being spent and to foster goodwill through Sacramento County. It would also be used to highlight any needs that would require a future tax measure. As also as stated in the Measure A ordinance, member agencies participate in the Sacramento County-wide Transportation Mitigation Fee Program. Fee development varies based upon land use categories. The categories were originally defined in 2004, last revised in 2014, and are due for a refresh to keep them current. We are in the early stages of collaborating with our member partner agencies to establish a working group. Recommendations will be brought forward to the board in the next few months. And finally, since our last board meeting, the federal budget has been adopted and signed and will fully fund the government through the remainder of the fiscal year. We have an expectation that the new federal administration will also introduce a large-scale transportation package with funding available for state and local agencies. Authority staff is poised to work with SACOG and other transportation agencies to look for strategic opportunities to leverage available Measure A funds with any new federal funding sources. And Mr. Chair, that concludes my executive report.
Good. Well, thank you, Sabrina. Let me turn to members of the authority. Do you have any questions about any items or comments on items that were covered by the executive director, or any other items you wish to bring forth on this particular item? Okay, hearing none, you got through it. Flying colors there, very good. So, well, good. Thanks for bringing us up to date on some important items, and obviously we'll cover a couple of those as we move down through the agenda today and in the months to come. So, okay.
And Chair, I would just like to make note there is no public comment for this item.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, if there's no public comment, no questions or comments by members of the authority, then we will go to our consent calendar. We have items 4 through 7. Is there any, and being that we are broadcast, some of this is audio, it may be good then, I think, to read those items in the agenda, please.
Yes, I can do that.
Thanks.
Item number 4 is going to be approve action summary December 11, 2020 STA Governing Board meeting. Item number 5 is Sac Metro Freeway Service Patrol Status Report, second quarter fiscal year 2021. Item number 6 is Sacramento Abandoned Vehicle Service Authority Report, first quarter fiscal year 2021. And item number 7 is the CTSA grant agreements for SAC RT and Paratransit Inc.
Okay, so we have those 4 items before us. Is there any desire by member of the board to pull something off the consent calendar? Otherwise, a motion would be in order.
Jeff Harris, I'll move consent.
Okay. Thank you, Member Harris. We have a motion. We have a second.
This is Jay. I'll second.
Bobby Singh-Allen, second.
Okay. I think Jay got in just before Bobby Singh-Allen, so we have a motion and a second. Thank you all.
All right, let's give it to Bobby. She's new.
Okay, all right. Okay, so, all right, very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, do we have any public comments on any of the consent calendar?
Just double check right now. And I'm sorry, that first was from Gatewood, and the second was from Singh-Allen. Is that correct?
Motion was from Harris.
Harris.
Motion was from Harris.
Making the motion right now.
Okay, from Harris. Got that. Okay, and there is no public comment for the consent items.
Okay, any other comments before I call for the roll call? All right, hearing none, seeing none. With that, then Darrell, please call the roll on the consent calendar.
Desmond?
Aye.
Frost?
Aye.
Gatewood?
Aye.
Guerra?
Guerra, aye.
Harris?
Aye.
Kowalski? I'm sorry, Kowalski? It looks like you're speaking, but I can't hear you. Thank you. And Kennedy?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Natoli?
Aye.
Sandoon?
Aye.
Chenier?
Aye.
Cerna?
Aye.
Singh-Allen?
Aye.
Spees?
Yes.
Valenzuela?
Yes.
And Vang?
Yes.
Okay, and that's a unanimous vote.
Okay. All right, with that then, we'll move forward then to our separate item matters. And the first one is the decennial review, public hearing on potential amendments to the Measure A expenditure plan. Ms. Drager, do you want to offer some opening comments?
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. As stated earlier in the Executive Director's report, today marks the final in a series of 3 public hearings held in conjunction with scheduled authority meetings. Per Section 7 of the ordinance, the 3rd hearing will take input from the general public. Again, as stated in the ordinance, beginning in 2019 and every 10 years thereafter, the authority shall review and, where necessary, propose amendments to the expenditure plan to meet changing transportation needs. Each review shall consider recommendations from local governments, transportation agencies, interest groups, and the general public. To date, we have received 2 public comments. In the packet that was sent to the board, it actually showed 3. One was a duplicate of City of Sacramento. It was listed twice. So one of the comments was from a private citizen asking the authority to consider a safer and more robust bike and trail system. And the other stated was from the City of Sacramento asking for consideration of 3 items: regional financial support of the Sacramento Valley Intermodal Station, the ability to move local dollars within their capital allocations, and lastly, asking for consideration of additional categories eligible for funding in the Transportation Mitigation Enhancement Program. Staff and the Measure A Professional Advisory Group will continue to work on proposed principles for the authority's adoption, which will help set a framework regarding the scope and content. We will compile the input received and develop recommendations for any amendments to the expenditure plan and bring forward to the governing board in February. Okay. That concludes my report.
Okay, great. All right, I'll bring it back to the board. Are there comments, questions regarding any of the correspondence and or the public hearing we're having today on this decennial review?
Chair, Jeff Harris, I have a comment.
Sure. Hi, Jeff. Go ahead.
Hey, Don. Happy New Year to y'all. So the letter from the city recommends that we look at funding a different governance model for the intermodal station, the Sacramento Valley Station. That's located in District 3, but the fact of the matter is, it is a regional amenity. there's no doubt about it that it's a regional transportation hub. And I think that the letter from our public works staff clearly delineates what the problem is. I hope that all the members of STA have read the memo from the city. It's definitely worth considering moving forward. Also, flexibility in spending. Actually, a couple of these things happen to be in my district. The Richards Boulevard I-5 interchange, is an important project, but there are issues with Caltrans, whether or not they can add another lane, and if the money that was allocated to that interchange can't be used because of a problem with Caltrans, it definitely should be allocated towards the bridge across the American River. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I totally agree with all of the points made in that letter, and I hope that it will be considered moving forward. Thank you, Chair.
Good. Thank you, Jeff. Other members? Okay, if no one else wishes to comment at this juncture, this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open the public hearing. Do we have any folks beyond those that have corresponded with us in writing that wish to address the board today, Madam Clerk?
No, there is no public comment at this time for item number 8.
Okay, so we don't have any public comment. Will it be necessary to close the public hearing, or we retain the public hearing open? I'll ask this of council, since we're going to have this item back before us.
I'm going to say close.
Okay. You're going to say close. Mm-hmm. You're going to get what you wanted, what you asked for. So, okay, with that, council advises we close this. So I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. Any final comments or questions? It's not an action item for today. This is the third, as our executive director pointed out, the third of the 3 hearings we've had from the different interest groups. And as noted, we will likely see this back on our February agenda, and thank those who have been working on it, both staff as well as the professional, our PAG group, professional advisory group. So, all right, if there's nothing further, then we will move from this item to our next item, and that's item 9, which is opportunity to recognize some of our outgoing members of this board authority. So I'm going to turn to Ms. Drago and.
Thank you, Chair.
Yep.
So as stated earlier, we have 5 new board members with us today, which we are excited, but that also means we have the departure of 5 board members as well. So the authority staff have created a certificate of appreciation for the 5 departing board members. We will be delivering those the certificates to your offices appropriately. And I'd just like to thank the following people. Excuse me. So, the City of Elk Grove Councilmember Darren Soon, who's also served as the chair for 2020. City of Elk Grove Councilmember Patrick Hume. City of Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg. City of Sacramento Councilmember Steve Hansen, and the County of Sacramento Supervisor Susan Peters.
Very good. And thank you, Sabrina, for putting the certificates together again. And I don't think we have any of those folks with us, certainly in the chambers today, and I don't know that they're on the phone, but I want to express thanks and appreciation and echo what our executive director has said. We appreciate their service, certainly former member Soon for his leadership as our immediate past chair, and certainly to our other council members and supervisors, as well as the mayor of Sacramento, for their engagement and work in some cases over the course of many years. I know Member Hansen was member for 8 years, and Supervisor Peters was a member of this authority, former chair, a couple of different stints over her 16-year tenure. And obviously members Hume and Soon from the City of Elk Grove were longtime members. And so we appreciate the engagement and leadership in their respective jurisdictions, but also their contributions to this board, to the efforts we had, looking at certainly a potential measure over the course of the past 3 years or more, but also the work ongoing each and every month. And so thanks to each of them, and as Sabrina said, we will deliver the certificates of appreciation to each of them after this meeting. So any other comments from colleagues on the board? Okay.
Chair Don,
Yes,
Holly.
yes, Mr. Sandhu.
Yeah, I would like to make a few comments.
Sure.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate and welcome to Ms. Drago. I also like to congratulate Chair and Vice Chair.
Thanks, Paul.
And I also like to welcome and congratulation to all the new members. And I also like to appreciate Mr. Henson, Mr. Hume, and Ms. Peter, and Mr. Soon to their service. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. And it wasn't too long ago you were a freshman member of this board, and now you're a tenured member. And thank you for those comments, and appreciate certainly contributions on behalf of the city of Galt, but your work on this authority and those very kind comments. Anyone else?
Yeah, Chair Jeff Harris here.
Yes, Jeff.
I said Happy New Year to everybody. It seems maybe late in the year to say that, but I've decided that our new year for 2021 starts on January 20th. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Very good. Happy New Year.
Here.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I have Patrick Kennedy has a comment.
Yeah, Patrick, sure.
Okay. I actually, want to comment on everybody, but I'm going to specifically comment on Director Suen, who chaired during a very difficult year, who really took leadership in our attempts to get Measure A on the ballot and formulate something that was positive for the entire region. And I thought he was going to suck, and he did a great job. So, thank you, Darren, if you're listening.
I'll convey those messages there, Mr. Kennedy. This is Bobby.
Thank you.
Just the part about the great job. Oh.
Oh, no, I'll editorialize it even more.
Okay. All right, Bobby. We'll leave it in good hands with you, Mayor Singh, Alan. Okay. Others? Okay. Well, very good. Again, thank you to all of our outgoing members, and again, one final welcome to all of our new members as well. So we're going to be into a good year, and with that, it takes us to item 10, which is just comments, and we've had some of those already, but any other comments by authority members on any matter before we draw this meeting to a close? Mr. Kempton, you got anything you want to say? You've been retired for a little over a month now. Kind of, anyway. Okay. All right. Then, Madam Clerk, anything else?
I just want to make note that there was no public comment for item number 9, and there is no public comment for this item as well.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Council, anything? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just have a quick comment before we close. Wanted to just give congratulations to Member Valenzuela, for the chair and the vice chair, but it's also her birthday today, so just wanted to wish her happy birthday as well. So if you get a chance, make sure you reach out to her. I was joking with her today that she turns 35 and it's her last year to be a young Dem. So after this year, you are officially an adult.
Very
so
good.
just wanted to say that publicly, but happy birthday to you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mai, for calling attention to that, and happy birthday wishes to you, Katie, and forever young. Remember those words.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Member Bangor.
You bet. Okay, very good. We'll spare you singing it to you. You certainly you don't want the chair singing it to you. I know that. That would really scare you. Okay. All right. Happy birthday. Any other wishes or thoughts? If not, then I'm going to bring the gavel down, and we'll adjourn this meeting, and we'll return here in February. And thank you all. Be safe, and thanks for your participation, and see you next month. We are adjourned.